Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, right at this very moment, I've actually waited. It's actually 3:53 right now. I've waited about 45 minutes to make this video because my hands were literally shaking when I watched this video. Okay, the story about the airmen getting shot in Florida yesterday by a sheriff. I heard about this story yesterday afternoon, right after it happened, because I'm keeping up on stories to do these videos. I always keep right up on the news to see what's happening across the country and across the world, so I don't miss the story, so I'm up on what's going on. And I didn't watch the video of the actual encounter, and I'll put it right down on top. It's a YouTube video. It's the whole video from where the sheriff pulls up. He gets the call in his car. He goes up in the elevator. He knocks on the door, and the door opens, and bam, bam, bam. Roger Fortson is gone. Let me say this. First thing, one of my first impressions, there's 150 units in this building, and you cannot tell where sound comes from. I've actually had people come to my door and ask me to stop pounding. What's all the noise in here? Why, what are you building? Are you hammering something? And the sound isn't coming from here. It's hard to tell when there's units above, units below, and units on the side where the sound is coming from. I've dealt with this. With people upstairs. I don't even know if it's coming from upstairs or if it's coming from a perpendicular apartment upstairs and to the side, which was actually the case. Okay, so the sheriff's department gets a call. So this lady called. She heard screaming. She heard a woman in trouble, something like that. The sheriff goes there. He knocks on the door, and apparently Airman Roger Fortson, who has a license to carry in Florida, has it. He doesn't know who's at the door. They apparently they can't hear each other through the door. This is the way his girlfriend is telling it right now. And for all intents and purposes, this guy was completely innocent. He hears aggressive pounding on his door. He doesn't hear the sheriff part of it. Maybe he just heard it. He opens up the door at the end, and by my account, within a couple seconds, not even, bam, the airman's dead. Literally as soon as the door opens, bam, bam, bam. As soon as the guy sees the black man with a pistol at his side. Yeah, that's what I think. All right, let me say this. This is the reason I shouldn't make this video, because I am so ticked off right now. There was a time, my girlfriend, my soulmate, passed away in 2021. The girl I love most in this world. We were boyfriend and girlfriend back in 3rd grade. I would have married her, except she moved to Florida, and I was going to move down after, right during COVID, the summer of COVID. With good old Ron DeSantis keeping everything open. And saying that the jab isn't effective and masks aren't effective, and my girlfriend bought into that, and she moved down to Jacksonville. And within one day of getting to Jacksonville, in July of 2021, she contracted the Delta variant of COVID. She ended up in intensive care within a week, and she was gone a month later. I lost her. Not only that, her sister got a notification from the medical examiner down there saying that they want to blame it on asthma. Audrey never had asthma one day in her life because Ron DeSantis wanted to make it look like there wasn't as many COVID deaths in Florida as there was. So, I talked to her sister, and she said, Daryl, did Audrey ever have asthma? Because the medical examiner is saying this was asthma. I said, Audrey never had asthma. I knew her since 3rd grade. Never had asthma one day in her life. She was fit and healthy. It was this, and it was the whole Trump MAGA party is what killed her. So I've kind of had a prejudiced view of Florida. Okay, that being said, fast forward to I exercise every day, and I'm on the treadmill. So I watch. There'll be links to this all down below. I watch A&E, and I've been getting into these real life court dramas on A&E. There's one called Guilty or Innocent, Accused. I'll put the picture on the thumbnail so you guys can download the app if you want to verify what I'm saying. Okay, so I've been watching these like real court cases, and it just appalls me. It's one after the next. In Florida, like I'd say at least a dozen of these cases. There's probably about 50 or 60 shows that are available to watch, accused, guilty, or innocent. And at least a dozen of them are in Florida, and at least a dozen of them involve two people with guns and the whole stand your ground thing. I'm going to say this. I'm glad I never moved to Florida. I will never set foot in Florida again. Florida is full of freaking pussies, is my opinion here. I said I shouldn't make this video. Back in the old days, I've made a lot of videos recently where I've talked about the fist fights that I used to get into. And back in the old days, you have a disagreement. You have road rage. You get an argument over somebody hitting your car. You get an argument over somebody bumping into you. There's some words exchanged, and maybe at worst, you get into a fist fight. You get a black eye. You get a broken nose. I've had my nose broken 3 times. As you can see, I've had my fingers broke, my arm broke. Okay, but you don't die. You don't die. Okay, so on A&E, and you guys can watch this. The app will be down below. And I just see one court case after the next. Like one guy's carrying a gun. He's a 22-year-old kid driving his motorcycle. He pulls up at Walmart. And then some guy is angry about the way he drove. And he starts swearing at him. So the guy gets off his motorcycle and he flips him off. The other guy gets out of his van and starts walking over. The guy in the motorcycle pulls out his gun. The other guy pulls out his gun. All right. Then the guy that was walking up puts his gun back away. And he tells the guy in the motorcycle with the gun, put away your BB gun. He thinks it's a BB gun. And he goes to kick at it. And it's a real gun. And he shoots him. That's just one story. And these are all in Florida. And these are all stand your ground rules where people can't fight like men anymore. Back in the old days, before all this stuff, like 40, 50 years ago and before, it was just a fist fight where it was just hand to hand, or just where you resolved it and you shook hands, you had a beer, and you went on to live another day. And now these people, it just appalls me that these, like in these videos, it's one story after the next, where these people are so frightened of somebody coming towards them that they're saying that they feared for their life. They were going to get killed, so they had no choice. Like the whole Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman thing. This kid was unarmed. This guy comes up to him and starts this, and in Florida, another one in Florida. I will never set foot in the state of Florida. You know, I should have waited to make this video because I'm so angry this morning with the state of Florida. You guys can keep that state. You can keep your palm trees, and you can stick your sunshine and all that. You guys are just going to end up wasting each other with this stand your ground and everybody with these weapons. I grew up, and here's another thing. I'm a liberal, but I grew up with guns. My father taught me to shoot, taught me to clean guns. He collected guns. He was the park ranger at a state park here. He ran the entire state park here in Connecticut, and he was a game warden. And he had a whole collection of guns, which I inherited. I learned how to clean them, how to shoot them, the rules of holding a gun, never point a gun at another human being, consider every gun is loaded, all that stuff. And the stuff I see going on now down in Florida is just appalling. The gutlessness of it, where a guy just walks up to another guy and all of a sudden they're just both pulling out their guns and you have somebody dead. It's ridiculous. This stand your ground rule. And I don't even know what to say about this airman. You know, the sheriff opens the door, sees a guy standing there, doesn't even tell. I didn't even hear him say to the airman to drop his gun or to do anything. And I didn't hear any commands. The door opens and he just goes bam, bam, bam. And an airman is gone now, and for all intents and purposes, the call, the trouble wasn't even coming from that apartment, apparently. So it's a completely innocent, productive member of our society, another one gone because of a gutless Florida gun holder. You might not like my opinion this morning. You're probably not going to like it, especially from Florida. But that's what I think this morning. Have a good Friday.